Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode. So, I talk about death on the show, end of life, transitioning. I like all of those words. And I talk about it from a perspective, like in my Diaries of a Medium series, as medium work and what I've been doing through the years with that. But that series in particular, I could not possibly explain this quickly. It's something I would encourage you to listen to because it's really for everyone, and it will not only bring you more awareness about true end of life transitioning, but how mediumship brings in healing around that, and also how you will leave that series feeling a lot less fearful of crossing over that transition. But doing this work, death is kind of always at the forefront of my mind. I recently got my death doula certification. I actually will be expanding my business into working with people, helping them actively transition in their own way, and honoring rituals and respecting them, beginning with elderly care all the way through end of life. It's a huge calling on me. I know that. And so that's part of the cliffs that I've been talking about on the Paige show, is just jumping into some new waters here. And because of that, I just am really comfortable in that world. I wouldn't say I'm excited, clapping my hands, ready to go at any point, but I have a lot of downloads about it because I work with it so closely. So it was really on my mind today, and I thought, what do I find most discouraging about this? And it's really that it's not talked about. So I wanted to talk about it today. And I want to congratulate you if you clicked on this to listen, that you were brave enough or drawn to this enough to listen, because you'll understand why, I'm sure, by the end. And I feel like I have this pioneering spirit to break the ground for a new idea that it's okay to talk about transition. We should be talking about transition. It's not taboo, and it is a very spiritual experience if we are allowed to view it that way. If your beliefs can be transformed or changed a little bit, or in some cases just honored through the process of transitioning, understanding transition. If you could get to that place, you would also understand that it is a topic that needs to be talked about, because the truth of the matter, in doing the new work I've started and working as a medium, you realize that in the end, we all, even if we've had knowledge of it, we all come to that last breath with questions or apprehension. And funny enough, this whole thought came to me sitting in the DMV the other day. I say that, you already know where I'm going. The DMV is literally the last place that I want to go. I dread it every single time I have to go. So moving to a new place, I had a lot of business to handle there. And I was sitting there, and I was, really just trying to still off my energy, because it's just heavy. The people working there, nobody wanting to be there. It was just, it's a very feeling. All the jokes about it are quite real. And in doing that, I, took myself away as usual without realizing it. And I started to get this download about, we're all sitting here with a number, waiting for our number to be called, and really crossing over is the same way. And I think that there's apprehension about talking about death, because when we talk about it, the awareness of that becomes real. And that can be hard for some people to get a grasp on because of belief, really. Maybe their belief around what happens after we transition creates fear, and they don't want that. So how do we address fear? Because it is that thing that we talk about that really can keep us stuck. The best way to address fear is to literally address it, find the place that it's coming from, what's causing it, what's fueling it, and can we shift it, is the thing. I've noticed in my life, just awareness, education, being able to talk about something and get it out really helps, and I'm not alone in that. I know that not everyone's the same, but I know that if we were to allow it to be a topic that could be openly discussed more, that would help put people more at ease. They would have a better grasp on it for their own personal journey. I believe that. I know that. I don't let anyone else change that. That is not just an opinion. That is something I feel and I see. And so I'm very, very passionate about that. So sitting in the DMV, I realized, hey, this is a good symbolism of what we're doing every day. We're all in this kind of perpetual line with a number, waiting on our number to be called, and you can't change the number. You can't switch the number out with somebody else. You don't know really when the number is going to be called, because if you go to the DMV, you have like A, B, C, D, all of these numbers, and they're never called in order. Maybe the number is in order, but it's going to be A something and then D something next and C or Z, whatever. They're never always in the same order. So you're looking at this screen with all these different letters and numbers, and you're just like, I'm going to stop looking because there's literally no way I'm going to know when I'm next. And that's how we kind of deal with life. We just stop talking about it. We put it in the back of our mind because we're like, we have no idea when our number will be called, and it makes some of us anxious or whatever. That uncertainty, the unknown, is kind of human nature to feel upset about, because here we go, illusion of control. It's one of those things that we absolutely know we have no control over. And so if we can't compute it, we don't want to think about it. But sitting there, it really became clear, like, if we could talk about it, if we could be okay with not knowing when our number is called, because we're okay with whatever we feel happens after our number is called, then we could really live life more. And I've always said that about talking about death or working in the realm of people crossing over. If we knew more about it, if we talked about it more and embraced it more, we actually could enjoy life more. Because there are some of us who are stuck in life where we don't do certain things because we're afraid of death coming and knocking on our door. And so it works many ways. Some of us push things away and we live in a world of being naive or putting it in a box and not addressing it. And others actually are crippled by it, the fear of it or the anxiousness of it. And so either way, talking about it achieves helping both or all of the people, whatever category you're in. So this talk really is just to help you start thinking about why it may be uncomfortable for you to talk about it, maybe how it could help for you to be a part of it, and understand and know that at least on the Paige show and wherever this expands or goes from here, I never really know. I just do things as I'm told, and I do the next thing as I'm told. But we will be talking about it a lot here. We will be using this as a platform to help people feel more comfortable about it. And I just want to again say thank you for clicking on this today. If you read the title and you still listened, I think that there was a reason for that. And so I would say the first place to start is being able to think about what makes you uncomfortable talking about it. What makes you uncomfortable sitting in the DMV? What makes you impatient there? All of that came in my download. For me, it was not knowing when my number was called because nothing was in order. It made no sense to me. Well, welcome to life and death, right? And I also didn't want to wait forever. There's a little bit of that in my own true story and contract. I have a whole opinion on me being able to age gracefully and do it without being in pain. I definitely am not good with pain these days. And so I just would like to share, if you really connect a simple thought like how mine happened in the DMV, you can use that to go down all of the paths that Spirit would want you to go, or mind map your way through things that are troublesome to you. And death needs to be one of those things. That's what I'm saying today. That's something we need to start putting on the plate, because when we do that, when we start to or when we achieve an understanding and acceptance of what that looks like for us, that's when we truly live. That's when we can release things that hold us back because of the fear of it or the unknown of it, and we can just live. We can be okay sitting in the DMV not knowing when your number is going to be called, but you can do it with more positivity and grace, not so much anger and is the word. I can't even think of a better word, like what I felt in the DMV. It's really symbolic of how many of us are living our life right now. If you look at the world, if it's outside of your small little bubble that hopefully you've created of sanity and people that you love and trust that are positive, if you look outside of that at everything else going around you that's going on, if you work with the public at all, if you're on a public platform to get criticized at all, you will understand that the DMV is really symbolic of the world right now. The energies of everyone working there, living there, having to be there when we don't want to be there is where we're at in life right now. So it was a really incredible download. And by me sharing just a little tip with you, or a little clip, I would say, I'm sure you could go down so many more symbolic paths on that, but it's really where we're at in life. And we've been faced with death and the reality of that more in the last couple years. We're coming on 2 years now with the COVID and all of the things, where it's been on the forefront of our minds. It's created a lot of anger and animosity and division on COVID especially, and what that's brought. But it's really created a lot of anxiety, and it's forced people to either bury their idea of death or actually have to face it, and maybe they don't know how to. So that's what I want to help with. I hope these talks help. The more that I do with this, I hope it helps. I would really encourage you, if you're struggling right now, to listen to Diaries of a Medium, because it definitely will help. That was an incredible download of weeks and weeks on end, and just stay tuned to more about that. So have a little laugh. We're all sitting in the DMV but we can sit there with a positive attitude. It is possible, and I think the first step in that is allowing ourselves to talk about it and understand what it means for our number to be called. And I hope you enjoy my download today. Until we do it again, we will take care of ourselves. We will take care of others. Try to be kind in a world where it's not as popular to be that anymore. And I will catch you next time.